Hello everybody, my name is Miss Vanessa here at the Orland Park Public Library, and I'd like to welcome you guys to another STEAM at Home. Today's STEAM at Home actually required us to come to the library and pick up a Take and Make kit. And in our Take and Make kit we have some really interesting things. We have an owl pellet skeleton diagram. We have an owl pellet bone sorting chart. We have an owl pellet. We have some tweezers. And so today we are going to be dissecting an owl pellet, which I'm so excited about because it's like one of my favorite things to do. Because it's really interesting and you get to see what is inside of an owl pellet and what it is that an owl has eaten. So what exactly is an owl pellet? Well, owls are birds of prey and they prey on smaller animals. So they prey on like mice or other small rodents, as well as like smaller birds or bugs. But the thing is that they consume these animals whole, and their digestive systems don't digest everything inside of that animal. So they can't digest fur or feathers or teeth or bones. And so all of these things get turned into a really hard pellet inside of their stomach, and they spit that up. And that is what we have here. And so I'm really excited to see what we have inside of each one of our owl pellets. And scientists actually use these to be able to see what kind of animals are in the area and what kind of animals owls are preying upon. And so today we're going to get to see what's inside of our owl pellets. And I have a couple of trays here, and I have a couple of different owl pellets so we can sort through and see what we can find. And I'm really excited, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to put on some gloves because I want to be extra safe. And we're going to take our tweezers out of our plastic. And now we can start opening up each one of our owl pellets. So I'm going to start with one and see what we can find inside. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and it looks like we've already got a bone coming out of our owl pellet. So you can see that there's already something there. So I'm going to use my hands and my tweezers to kind of pull this apart and see what we can have, what we have in here, and then we're going to see if we can identify any of this. So it looks like I can already see some fur inside of our owl pellet. There's like little hairs sticking out of our owl pellet here. And then there's these teeny tiny bones. So I have to very carefully break this apart so that we don't ruin any of these very, very delicate bones because they kind of just crumble. So, okay, I think I can identify something on here already. But here, let's pull this all apart. I'm going to try to take off all of the fur that's in here so that we can see what this is a little more easily. But here we have another, this looks like a skull, and it's got 2 teeth on it. And so I'm gonna move the camera so that we can have a closer look at this once I've completely taken this apart. Okay, I see another, what looks like another skull here. Okay. And then what looks like might be a oh, there's a bone, a couple of bones there, and then I see more teeth in here. We'll try to take off all of that fur. Yep, it looks like we have another jawbone right there. And here's another skull. So it looks like we have 1, 2, 3 skulls and 1, 2 jaws. And let me just double check and make sure that I didn't miss anything in here. There's a bunch of really small, fragile bones in here as well. And I want to try to take those out as well. Okay, let's move our camera so we can see what is inside of our owl pellet and see if we can identify any of these. So I'm going to move the camera so you can see. Okay, so I wanted to show you some of the things that I found up close. So here we have what looks like a jawbone. Here we have a skull, and you can actually see the 2 teeth on there. This is another skull, and you can also see the 2 teeth on there. And here we have another jaw with like a very sharp tooth on it. And so I wanted to look on the chart that we received to see if I could identify any of these. And I have a feeling that most of what we have is rodent. So here's the rodent skull, and this looks very, very similar to what we have here. And our jaw is also rodent, because you can see here that there's like one very sharp tooth and then all of the small teeth, which we have one sharp tooth and all those small teeth there. And here we have another rodent skull. And another rodent jaw. And we actually had 3 jaws, but only 2 skulls that I found. And some of the like foot bones we were able to find here. Foot and front leg. Oh, you know what? Here we said we had 3 jaws. I think we have part of a 3rd skull here. Sorry, I'm missing 2 there. There is our 3rd skull. So we did have 3 skulls, in fact. But here we have a leg bone. And here we have some more small bones that may be ribs Oh, this one's definitely a rib. You can see how small and thin that is. There's another one. It's super small and thin. So we'll put that there. And I was hoping to find a hip bone, but I haven't found one in our owl pellet just yet. But I wanted to see if we can maybe, here it looks like this is another part of a jaw, because you can see there that there's another like really sharp tooth there. And here we have some more like bigger bones, but then here we have some vertebrae or some ribs. And I'm just going to make sure that we didn't miss anything else inside of our owl pellet. Here we have, there's a bigger bone. Ooh, I'm not sure what that is, but I think this is it. I think we found the hip bone, but it's like crumbling. But I can see, you can see here how there is like a rectangular bone, and then it goes out like this. And it looks like this was a rectangular bone that kind of got crushed, but I think that's our hip bone that we were looking for. And I don't see anything else in here. And I thought we were gonna have to do more than one owl pellet, but I don't think that's necessary. Sometimes you find a whole bunch of things inside of them, and sometimes you don't. But I think we got really, really lucky with our owl pellet, because we found 1, 2, 3 whole skulls, 1, 2, 3, 4 jaws. We found what looks like 2 to 3 legs, but then here's 3 more, because we can't really identify what goes where. This might also be a rib. We found some ribs. I didn't see any vertebrae, unfortunately. Oh, this might be a vertebrae. And then in the rest of this, you can see all of that fur that I was talking about. You can see the fur that the owl was not able to digest. And look, we can see that there's still a couple of bones in here. You can move them onto our chart. But it looks like that's everything. And so this is what our completed chart looks like. We found probably the remains of 3 different rodents. So this could have been like a mouse or a small rat. Okay, so we were able to dissect our owl pellet and see all of the different rodents that it had eaten, and we were able to identify some of the different parts of the rodent, and it was really, really interesting to see what was inside of our owl pellet. And I'm really excited for you guys to take a look inside of your own owl pellets and see what you find. But thank you guys so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!